Okay, we're moving forward. So this is going to basically fulfill the role of our third piece of learning for today's adapted asynchronous learning class. So we're looking at a range of skills that will help students be successful for university. I've kind of shifted the way we're looking at our weekly sessions because we're meeting online anyways, and I've kind of talked to you guys about how I look at it as though it's edutainment. So I kind of run it almost like it's a TV channel, like a study channel or something like that. And this is our third time that we were supposed to meet. So we're going to call this episode 3. And these are student skills for success. We'll talk about 10 effective study strategies for university students. Okay, so first of all, I think it's good to have kind of a bigger theme that connects some of the skills together or strategies together. And the first one is that when you're in a university, you should look at the university as a community. We learn better together than we do on our own. This is very, very logical. We support each other. We can quiz each other. So I really encourage you should try to build a community of learners around you. So I call them study buddies. And usually 3 to 4 people in each class that you kind of connect with. That way you can keep each other on track. You can bounce ideas off of them. And when those busy times come, the times for midterms and final exams, you can book study sessions together and you can actually quiz each other and test each other's knowledge. Okay, second point, it's really important to know what's expected of you. So it's not only important to make good connections with your peers, with the classmates you have in class with you, it's also really important to know the preferences of your instructors or professors. And for them to know you too. So I always encourage my students, you really want to be a name, a person to your professor. You don't just want to be your student number. So even though sometimes it can be a little bit daunting to go to the professor after class and ask a question, I encourage every student to do this. And just so they get to know you, right? And I would do it regularly. I would even try to contribute during class. This makes things more vibrant. You're going to really build that learning ecology, as I call it, or that learning ecosystem. And one of the things I say to students is if you've got a question in your mind, chances are other students will as well. They might have the same question. So don't hesitate to ask because you're also speaking up on behalf of your peers. I also think it's important to keep a balance. So you should have time set aside for studying and it should be scheduled, but you should also have time set aside for social things and for fun things. Like many students will go to the gym in the evenings and there's tons of intramural sports that get played there. Or there are tons of different clubs on campus. Or if you're an introvert, go to the forest and go for a nice walk or hang out with your pet family member, your dog or your kitty, and make sure to have that downtime strategically spiced into your busy schedule as a student. Okay, it's no surprise that engaging in the process is going to improve your takeaways, your grades, and your experience. So we like to say engagement improves all aspects of a student's life. So solid notes are the start, but then you should be converting your notes from class into study cards. And that's why in all of my classes, I recommend that students bring study cards, physical study cards in class that they can use. They can build question on the front, answer on the back. It helps you to retouch the idea. So that's a first review. But then we also talk about what we call strategic review, which means spacing out your review sessions. And sometimes we see the number 336. So that means if you learn a concept on day 1, you review it on day 4, you review it again on day 7, and then you review it again on day 13. So over a 2-week period, you should touch that knowledge 4 times altogether. The initial lecture, and then your 3 sessions of review. Okay, another study skill that can help you to engage and really kind of check what you learn is a process called elaboration. And elaboration basically means you try to teach the concept to your study buddy. So if you're talking about sentences in our class, your study buddy might say, I don't understand how to write a semicolon sentence. So then you say, the semicolon sentence. And then you try to explain it to your partner. So you're elaborating that skill or that process. Number 6, free thinking is so valuable. And they actually find that daydreaming and just not taking your mind up with a specific task actually helps to breed creativity. And so for me, often if I'm struggling with how to do a specific lesson for my students, or with how I should write an example essay for my students, like in this class, I'll actually operate as a student. So when you guys are doing your work, I'll be doing my own version of the same work. And then I often will post my examples so that you can check to make sure you're on the right track. But if I'm struggling with building an idea, I go for a walk in the forest and I just let my mind kind of wander. And then inevitably you're going to have that spark moment. You're going to have that creative moment. So don't shy away from free thinking time. Okay, the journey is in the learning. This really makes sense. Our processes help us get to our goals, right? So we need to really lean into our journey as students. So we want to talk a little bit about resiliency. So how can we be resilient as students, as learning people, as professionals? I kind of think of a student almost as being a job, right? Because you're essentially training for that next big thing in your life. And when you want to be efficient, you have to have good life practices. So we talk about things like sleep hygiene, getting enough rest. Diet, are you eating healthy foods, proper nutrients are the basic building blocks that'll give you your power throughout the day, right? Exercise is a good way to de-stress. It actually helps to bolster the health of your brain. This has been proven through science. Breathing, I teach yoga breathing as something that I'm passionate about. And one method you can use is called the box breathing method, which is very simply inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and then have empty lungs for 4. So it would be like this. Inhale, hold, exhale, empty. And then you just go around the box. And I actually visualize the box in my mind, or you can do like a circle with 4 quadrants. But when you're experiencing excessively heavy stress, take 10 minutes out and just do that box breathing technique through the entire 10-minute period. You will calm down. So it actually gets your body to shift from your fight or flight mechanism into your parasympathetic mechanism. So the sympathetic nervous system is for emergencies, and the parasympathetic nervous system is for thinking. Okay, so if you're in a fight or flight response, your brain actually triggers this section of your brain called the amygdala, which releases all of these hormones that essentially get you into reaction mode, right? But it short circuits the prefrontal cortex of your brain. So you really need to use a technique like this box breathing to help move yourself back into a calm state so you can think. Also, yoga. It's awesome. Do it every day. Okay, number 8, nature is going to be something you'll hear me bring up again and again in our class. Nature is the gateway to peace, all right? In Japan, they have this concept called Shinrin-yoku, which means literally forest bathing. So it's like going to the forest to bathe yourself in the positive energy of the trees. It works, guys. And next one, lean into the feedback. So again, I've kind of mentioned this a few times already in our lectures, but you need to look at the feedback with an open mind and say, what is it really saying to me here? How can I make my grade go up, right? A lot of students, they just look at the grade, they just look at the score, and then that's it, they're done. But what you should really do is dig into the notes that the teacher provides you with, and you'll see that this is why it does take me some time to do your assignments, because I usually will provide advice on how to improve the next effort, right? And sometimes students say, wow, teacher, you provide copious notes, right? Like way too many. But that's because I want to help you grow and improve your skills, okay? So look at the feedback, read it, think about it, and then try to use it to fix the work and improve those errors. So for us in a writing class, you should actually try to rewrite the sections that I've highlighted, that I've targeted with my feedback. Rewrite them to implement the corrections I'm suggesting. Okay, last, grit and growth mindset. These are 2 big concepts. And often my students will tell me that the growth mindset concept, the grit concept, and my resiliency concept are 3 of the big takeaways that stick with them after my lessons are done, like after the whole class is finished. So number 10, hard work and honest reflection are going to get you to your goal, guys. And that grit factor is that hard work factor, right? And that honest reflection factor, that's our resiliency factor. You got to have sleep, you got to have diet, you got to have breathing, you got to have, but you also have to look at the feedback and try to use it to grow and really ask yourself, how can I get better? Do it objectively. When we give you a grade in a class, it's not meant to be judging who you are as a person. It's just looking at your work, at your level, at your current level, at where you're at. It's just saying, hey, you're here, you're not there yet, you're not at that A+ level yet, but here's how you can get there. Okay? So never give up on yourselves. Learning does take time, so be patient, okay? Trust the processes that we're putting in place and let it unfold, guys. Stay on the path. You'll hear me say that time and again. And when you need help, please ask for help. We're here to help you. And all of this together kind of makes up this growth mindset, which we will learn more about. But growth mindset essentially is the idea that as learners, we are not a finished product. We can still grow and develop. So come with that open mind. Come with that hunger for knowledge, and real hunger for improvement comes with being able to admit you're not the finished product yet. Okay, wonderful.